When I joined Bliss, we were a team of 10, including designers, engineers, and project managers. We've changed a lot since then, from the way we tackle a problem to the way we organize our work. Now we are a lot more and we keep growing fast.
When we had teams composed of one designer and 2 developers, the handoff was an informal process, and there were no strict guidelines. So now having teams with 4 to 5 designers, 4 to 5 engineers, with most of them working remotely, we need to establish how we would document each step of the project. Not only to do a simple handoff, but also to cultivate collaboration throughout the process. Posso ver de novo?
Pode.
Vamos lá. When starting a project, the lead designer and the head of engineering have a few meetings with the client to understand their needs and requests and define our UI strategy.
In this stage, we must define all the project's requirements, which will be the basis for our UI and front-end development approach. Some examples of these requirements are the target platform, the tech stack, the brand guidelines, the design system, etc. This way we make sure the design and development teams are aligned with the client expectations and we can avoid surprises in the later stage of the project. We focus on defining the most adequate team profile for the project, the technologies and tools that will be used, the workflows and the responsibilities of each team member. And also, if there's an existing design system we must follow, or if we need to create one from scratch.
Então, assim vês?
Assim vejo.
At Bliss, we always aim to work with a design system. It is at the core of our collaboration. It creates a unique brand vocabulary for designers and engineers to keep consistency throughout the brand's digital environment. It sets the standards to be followed in every step of the project.
We start by gathering a team to create the cornerstone of the UI design concept and define the design system-based rules. We need to consider the project needs and requirements. For example, for a mobile project, we can have a team formed by me as a lead designer, Miguel as a motion designer, Henrique as a UX writer, and Guilherme as front-end team leader. For a web project, we should adjust the team this way.
If there is already a design system, use it as a starting point. If there isn't and makes sense for the project, we start by creating one. We begin by choosing the most common user journeys and defining basic rules and components such as type scale, colors, spacing, and buttons. In this phase, the UX writer starts helping define the voice and tone that will guide the entire project. The design team then shares this first draft with the development team to anticipate the implementation details.
Then, the motion designer makes the first studies of the animation using illustrations and iconography elements of the app. We also create a mock-up of the first user journey to present to the client. This video helps clients understand the concept process, giving them an overall perception of the future digital product.
It would be much more time-consuming if designers and engineers worked completely apart. The only way to succeed is to make sure everyone is on the same page from the very beginning of the project.
Once we have the client's approval for the UI concept, we can finally define and create the product's components. This process takes time. There can be 1 to 3 months until we have something approved and ready to be passed on to development.
The design and development teams meet again to define the component structure, and this is the most technical part of the project. We need to decide which components to create, which can be done from the ground up, imported from existing libraries, or reused from previous projects.
We also begin animating and testing the animation elements on different platforms. After we design every app flow and receive the client's approval, the layouts are ready to be developed. We tend to use animations with Lottie files because they are much lighter than video or image sequences. Lotties also have the advantage of being easy for developers to control.
In the beginning, when you had a small team, there are no defined rules for handing off the design to the dev team. As our team grew, we felt the need to create a shared template with both designers and engineers. This helps make the work more organized and collaborative. For example, this layout is under client review. Once the client approves it, we change the status. The template also details all behaviors and interactions for each flow and links to components located on a specific page. This template is in constant evolution and easily adapts to every project.
We also created a handoff checklist to guarantee designers would not forget anything before passing on the project to developers. This helps mitigate mistakes and misunderstandings between both teams.
We like to think about it as a centralized system where we define a set of principles to be used by everyone involved. The template allows us to understand the design specifications from illustration measures to themes, fonts, and sizes. This way, we know exactly what we need to implement. It's quite effective.
At this moment, we create and customize the necessary components, implement themes, typography, and flows. Everything is done with the cooperation and review of the design team. This way we ensure everything follows what was established in the early stages. This close collaboration makes any necessary adjustments easier early on, saving costs and time while keeping the project manageable.
During a design review, the design QA goal is to ensure that the expected design outputs are deployed in the production phase.
It's all about cross-checking what was designed versus what was developed, and of course, documenting all the inconsistencies.
We always ask ourselves, how can we work on a problem together? How can we find the best solution using our different perspectives, knowledge, and backgrounds?
But we must define the rules of collaboration from the beginning. That's why we always work with the design system, because it connects every single person working on a project. It creates a solid foundation for the task we have to complete.
At the end of the day, we are just one team overcoming challenges and solving problems together.